hello friends. Today we are group 8. We will present about the planning and preparing the assessment. In this group consists of 3 team members, which is the first one is Muhammad Amir Mustaqim bin Rusdi, and the second one is me, Nur Anissa Sila binti Abdul Halim, and the third one is Nur Syuhada Fatihah binti Paul. Okay, so we go to the first slide, which is to set the planning and preparing. We need to have an assessment objective. So if we look in this slide, we will see they have 6 identification of the objective. The first one is we need to determine the conformance with the assessment criteria, and the second one is ensure compliance with statutory, regulatory and contractual requirements. The third one is to determine whether the management system has been properly implemented and maintained. And then next, to evaluate of the effectiveness, and the fifth one to ensure the continuing suitability and effectiveness, and the last one is to identify the area of potential to improvement. The assessment scope is really important to having a good preparing. So the first one is a physical location, which is we know that actually a physical location is a physical site that situated something typically like a structure or a building. And the second scope is an organization, which is for example like EMS. We need to have energy management service, and the last one is a process within a facility or any combination of the above. Actually, we need to focus on the facility to aware the impact of the building towards environment. Then we go to the third one, which is we need to assess the criteria. So in this slide, we know that it had 6 criteria that must we follow, which is the first one is we need to have a policy guidance, and the second one is we need to have we need to evaluate the energy efficiency index, which is it is to examine the condition which is in civil society work, and the third one is energy management working procedure, and the fourth one is ESC working procedure. Next, we need to follow the legislation and regulation that have been provided, which is like for example ISO 5001, and the last one is in focus on industry sector codes of conduct, which is like management review, planning, documentation, and measuring and monitoring.
Next, I want to continue the assessment program. As you can see here, this is the example of assessment program. The first row is the energy manager. The criteria, role and responsibility, energy management working procedure. The period is the February, and this period is just for the example. And the second role is energy management committee. The criteria is energy management working procedure, and the period is the February to August. And the list of the row is ESC1, ESC2, ESC3 and the rest of ESC. And the criteria is energy management working procedure, and the period is February to August for ESC1, ESC2 is February, ESC3 August, and the list of ESC is February to August.
Assalamualaikum, I'm Nur Fatihah TC1999. I will explain about assessment team selection. Assessment team must be qualified to perform the task of assessment. They must have SAM or WIN to conduct the task. Team also must independent from the area or element to be assessed. They must know where the location to be assessed and what element need to cover in the area. Possess the overall experience and expertise need to conduct the assessment. They must have knowledge and experience to conduct the assessment. Lead assessor. Lead assessor have a responsibility for ensuring the efficient and effective conduct and completion of the assessment within the assessment scope and plan. The assessor must know consulting scope such as planning, the time and activities to be undertaken by team member, obtaining necessary information to do and cover in assessment process, preparing the assessment plan, communicating the final assessment plan with team member based on analysis and data assessment finding, and resolve any problem might be faced during and after assessment. Team member are important in the assessment process. Team members are responsible in planning and carry out the assigned tasks. They must have a plan and know what needs to be done and how to carry out the assessment process based on the data and experience they have in performing the task. Besides that, the team must do collecting and analyzing assessment. Team must have preparing working document and documenting individual assessment finding. Assessment plan. Assessment plan can be through by identifying the EAC and coordinating among department and provide EAC working procedure. In assessment plan must have date and assessment team in charge for EAC. In assessment plan also providing informative and consumption and activity or routine basis.
Next is document review. The things that has to be in the document review is energy policy, role and responsibility of energy manager, committee and EAC. Next is energy target and plan of the energy management. The document review also may have energy management working procedure, EAC working procedure, operational guide, also process mapping and work instructions. Next is the real case study. This is the real case study of the example document review content that I take from the University of Malaya. In this real case study, they tell about the target of the energy savings and their plan. Now let's take a look at documents needed for the operationalization of energy management at faculty. The number one is operating guideline. The content is objectives of the operational guideline, scope of the operational guideline, process mapping, list of standards and reference documents, normal working procedure to control energy consumption of faculty, and working forms documents. Number 2, work instruction, set of instruction to guide the implementation of individual improvement measures. Troubleshooting guide, list of available for energy auditing and other processes. And number 3 is log sheets, recording of daily electricity consumption according to areas in a building or major mechanical and electrical equipment. Lastly, we go to assessment checklist. The purpose of this checklist assessment is to improve the energy management to more systematically and to identify the problem faced in the process working procedure. As you can see here, this is the example of the assessment checklist. That's all from us. Thank you.